Hello everyone, here we've got a video for this review of a 2000s Bionaire Too Cool. We zoom in right there. Oh, I'm really bad with zooming. 16-inch pedestal fan, although granted it's really short. I don't have the full stand for it. I thought we'd do a full in-depth review of it. Because I picked it up from a car boot sale recently, mainly as well the double blade interested me, and the fact that it is a 90 watt fan, or 90 to 100 watts is rated, which is insane for a 2000 16-inch pedestal fan. So I thought I'd give it a try. I think we should do a review. Now I've got a little script. There you go. Give you a little glimpse. Got a little script for this one, as I did most of the in-depth review and whatnot off camera. I'll be just demonstrating the results. We obviously have our 4 categories, which is design, build quality, airflow and noise level. And if I remember, I will put them in the description to explain what each category is. Or if I do, let me know if I do forget, because I've got a tendency to forget things. First of all, let's showcase here around the fan. Side view. And there's your back view. And there is your awkwardly placed information sticker. Made in PRC, which People's Republic of China, which for a 2000s fan doesn't give me much hope for the build quality. Never does. 90 to 100 watts is very impressive though, I will admit. For the design category, which is just serviceability and like visual design of the fan, you know, how it was designed, whatnot. Each is ranked out of 100, by the way, because I want to just be really specific, even if I forgot decimal points existed. What I stated was, it's a very bog standard design in terms of serviceability. Comes apart like every other 2000s fan. It's basic, you know? I also, if you want some positives for its design category that I encountered, the head wire, you know, the part that leads around the motor, which SMC's had a little floor well cut open there, it's got a little like protective clear cover around it, which I think is a neat little bonus. I've never seen any other manufacturer do that. It's a good safety design. I would say, due to its blade set, the fan does look a little more unique, you know? I think it looks a bit more unique due to its blade set. Granted, the rest of it is very standard, but at least the blade set makes it look a little more unique. What else did I say? I'm already forgetting. Yeah, if you want some negatives, that blade set you see there, that small little blade set, from what I've heard, it just causes more problems than it does benefits. The bigger blade set is a 16-inch blade set, the smaller one measures around 9.5 inches. But it just causes more problems than it does benefits. It just, apparently, well, I haven't properly tested it, but hinders airflow and noise level. But I want to keep it on to make a review fair, so I can experience it in its whole original state. We're going to turn the fan around to take a look at that screw hole cover. It has a screw hole cover that covers the screw. Modern fan manufacturers like doing this. I personally think it's a bad thing, as it may confuse certain people who are looking to strip it down and they don't know how the motor housing comes apart. Another thing to pinpoint, underneath that is a triangle head. This fan, certain screws are triangle heads, like the screws that hold the motor housing front and back on, which is bad, you know? I think that's very bad, because not everyone has a triangle head. Most people will own like a Phillips head or flathead screwdriver, you know, but a triangle head, not really. Your best bet is jamming a flathead into that and hoping it works. The final part I wanted to mention is the front grille. If you like, it's very securely held in place due to this back grille. It has a lot of clips going around it that holds the grille on, and it holds it very securely if you tighten up the screw down there. But that's a positive, but a negative about that, it does make the front grille awkward to remove. Yeah, another one I'm going to bring up. The way the stand is held onto the base. It's awkward because you have to turn the head and pull it off. The Chrome Ever uses this to hold its motor housing together, and it's really awkward. I don't like it. Overall, I'll give it a 38 out of 100. Now with that, for the design category, it didn't score the best. But let's move on to build quality, and I'll take you off the tripod, because there's some reasons for it. First things first, you can really see the plastic finish on it is not done very well. You can really tell, look at that. The plastic finish on the fan is not done very well, and it shows. The smaller blade is actually very flimsy. It's not very, but it's quite flimsy. At least if you want a benefit, that back blade is a lot tougher than the front one. I guess it pushes most of the air, doesn't it, you know? The base, I'd say it's tough enough for one of these. It's not insanely tough, but it's not insanely weak either. I've seen metal bases are much weaker than this, which says a lot. It uses a 90-watt motor, and that motor does have a lot of power behind it. Generally one of the most forceful motors I've ever experienced in a pedestal. Actually, probably the most forceful motor I've experienced in a pedestal fan, which might not be saying a lot to be fair, but it's still very forceful. There's a little positive. Another negative that I had was on its oscillator. Got its indicator right here, so at least it's indicating, you know, on another benefit. 3 speeds, that starts with high for some strange reason. But the oscillator range is very bad. It's really small. I don't know why it's so bad, but it is. I'm going to mention for the oscillator, a lot of it's actually made of metal. The gears themselves I don't think are, but the actual housing the ring is made of metal, which is odd for a 2000 Swank, so you should have plastic, and the arm is metal. So that's some benefits. Overall, due to the cheapness of the fan, I did give it a 29. I initially gave it even lower, but I was being a bit harsh, so I gave it 29. It's like typical 2000s build quality, which is not good. Now we move on to the next category, which is airflow. And my goodness, I'll demonstrate the fan for you on all 3 of its speeds, and I'll show you its wattage draw. Oh, you can also test the noise level at the same time. You know, 2 in 1. Well, because why not? First of all, let's begin with high. The fan is drawing about 80.1 watts. But for airflow, it is moving an insane amount of air, but it is very, very loud. I'll try and move you out of the way of the wind. It is medium. We're drawing about 67.2 watts. That's still quite a lot. And for airflow, the fan is still pushing out an insane amount of air, and it is still very loud. For a little bit of context, for airflow, on high it moves about the same amount of air as an Expert or as T16 Brown does on high. They move about the same amount of air when both are going at max power, but this is a lot louder than one of them. But still a very impressive air mover. Here's low. looking at about 61.5 watts or 0.4. That's still a lot even for low. For airflow, yes, again, it's still moving a lot of air, even on low, but it is still very loud. Here's the oscillation. You can see the very poor oscillation. And whatever that noise is, it wasn't making that before now. High. Now let's turn the fan off. As you saw then, that was the airflow of this fan. A noise level tested. For airflow, like as I said, even with its smaller blade, which hinders it, it outputs an insane amount of air, moving roughly the same amount of air as an Expeditor's T16 can do, T16 Brown can do on max power, which is very impressive for a 2000s 16-inch plastic pedestal fan. That's very impressive. It's a very solid air mover. And so as to that, for airflow, I gave it a 90 out of 100, which is very high. Because of that airflow, I was expecting a good breeze, to be fair. I was expecting a fan to move a lot of air. But it moved more air. I was expecting like 2000s SMC level amounts of air, which is still decent, but nothing insane. But this, it blew me out of the water, no pun intended. And for noise level, honestly, it was its weakest category. It's so loud. Like, it is so incredibly loud. Like, it's even more louder than a 10-inch desk fan from the 1960s. And those are very loud fans. So that says a lot. So yes. And because of this, I would say this fan, for the amount of noise it makes, would be alright to use in like a large, loud environment. But if you were to use it in a smaller room like a bedroom, it's too loud for a bedroom. Not really worth using it there. Overall, it was given a 10 out of 100 for noise level, which was its worst scoring category. This gives the fan's overall score of 167 out of 400. And if we look on our leaderboard, it puts it below our Pifco 8-inch desk fan from the 80s. Personal thoughts. I even detailed a section where I gave my personal thoughts on this Bionaire 2 call, what I think of it after surfacing it and using it a little bit. I honestly do find it more interesting than most 2000s fans due to its blade design and high wattage. For a plastic pedestal fan, 90 watts is insane. Like, that is a lot. However, it really does feel like your typical cheap, like a 2000s fan. It's like very cheaply built. It really feels cheaply made. I'm not liking the build quality. It's not great on it. but at least the plastic isn't brittle. I'm not sure if that's because this one's in good nick or they just aged well. Maybe, I don't know. Or they're not old enough yet to go brittle. We'll have to wait, only time will tell. But yeah, from my experience, not brittle at all. Yeah, the plastic's still going strong, which is good. The back grille is plastic. Why? I hate plastic grills, I do. I own vintage fans with plastic grills. I own a Vortis Nordic 30 12-inch desk fan, and Electrostar Blue Star 12-inch desk fan. Yes, those rare fans. Their 12-inch desk fans were plastic front and back grills. The Vortis one, the grills are still strong, but they've gone so brittle on the Electrostar. And when they go brittle, they break all the time. And it makes prying them off a pain. Luckily, I do know how to pry off the Electrostar's grill without breaking it, but you have to be very careful. And Pivco spinners have plastic back grills. I hate it. I hate plastic grills. I prefer metal when you do. Like I said in effort, I was expecting it to be a strong air mover. I was expecting it to be quite a strong air mover. Because from my experience, usually if you like newer fans or higher rated wattage motors, they don't feel like a high rated wattage motor. Like that Super Deluxe 16-inch desk fan, 70-watt motor, feels only about 40, it only feels like a 45-watt motor and power. Its motor is weak for 70 watts. I know Fanatical Power Fans has an MLE97, it's 16-inch pedestal fan. It's rated 100 watts, but it didn't really feel like 100, it felt like a 60-watt fan, as someone in the comments said, which I agree with. So at least this one actually feels like a 90-watt motor. Like a motor actually feels like it's utilising 90 watts properly, if that makes any sense. But yeah, I was expecting it to move a good amount of air, and it excelled in that. It moves so much air. It's actually on. I decided to put it on the list. I know I wouldn't really include pedestal fans, but for the longest time I was looking for an excuse to allow pedestal fans on the list. I was just waiting to encounter one powerful enough to make it, and this is it. I was hoping it would be more of a Tatung or Exploratorus or something vintage, but at least we have something. But it will be way too loud for my own personal use. I wouldn't use it personally. Maybe I would use it in like a large open area, you know, because my house I live in is actually quite large, so it could work in the largest open areas there. It'll work in a garage quite well, I think, in a large garage. But for a personal use in like a bedroom, no. And for a nighttime fan, absolutely not. One of the worst pedestal fans for nighttime. It is way too loud for nighttime. It'll wake I don't think anyone else around me would be able to sleep. It's so loud. What am I going to do with it? I think honestly this fan is going to stick about. I think it will stick about as a part of my top 25 most powerful fans list. Yes, I'll be doing another video on that June this year, hopefully. This fan, it will stick apart in the list because it's actually scored quite high. I'm not going to tell you where, but it's high. It's one of the highest scoring. It's the second highest scoring fan that I've gotten in 2025. Out of all 11 fans I've gotten this year, it's the second highest scoring on the list. Only beaten by the T16 Grey, which the T16 Grey only just barely beat it. They move about the same amount of air. I personally, would I recommend them? I mean, if you're looking for something with a lot of power, maybe. But I don't know how reliable they are either. But anyways, enough rambling on. Thanks for watching. Hope you enjoyed. And see ya!